Another!
Hey guys, and welcome back to Plasmatic Productions and this episode of Three Nerds and a Noob. We got it right this time.
We got it right this time.
Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Yeah. I'm Slosh.
I'm Lux.
I'm the bubble.
And today we have watched another
Who
movie.
are
Who
you?
the fuck are you? Who the hell are
sorry.
you? Who the crap are you?
My name is Plasmatic, and today we have watched another one.
Another
MCU movie.
Guys, it's like the movie.
Because we're educating Yulux over here.
And it was called Thor.
No, it was called 3.
Mix those two together, we
Get
get...
5.
Ah,
Wait, no.
7.
Wait,
This is
we
a
get
music
Thor.
school,
We
guys.
get Thor. We get
we watched
Thor.
Thor.
We
We
watched
watched
Thor.
Thor,
Yeah.
if you will.
Thor.
And
So-
right off the bat,
Knee-jerk reaction.
knee-jerk reaction.
Okay. So I haven't given any opinion up until now.
That's
Because
true.
the rest of us are actually very
the
split.
rest
We're
of y'all
fighting.
are very split.
The divorce is
So
happening.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Now we're fighting over who gets Yulux in the divorce now.
okay, that's a lot. Okay.
It is.
Yeah.
Pick wisely.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, Thor, right? No, I won't lie. Knee-jerk
Non-sponsored.
reaction, non-sponsored. Knee-jerk reaction.
Ooh, they gave me money.
Knee-jerk reaction. I actually, really, I enjoyed it, but why? No, I enjoyed it.
But why did you enjoy it indeed?
But I didn't enjoy the villains as much as I could have. Right? So, okay, I won't give an immediate rating. I'll leave my rating till the end of this. I'll leave my rating until the end of this. But I will say, going into this, y'all were talking about, bro. Going into this, y'all were talking about, like, how bad it was, or like not how bad it was, really.
We were talking about how boring it was. We
How
literally
boring.
before we started the movie, me and Slosh were over here on
1990.
Yeah. And me on the other hand, like I have way more like I think childhood nostalgia for this movie, so I was really
Right.
excited, and so that was like an interesting.
Yeah, and I was going into it because of these two very, very low expectations.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's our fault.
Yulux trusts
This
them
guy
more
kept
than
talking
me.
about
I-
Dutch angles. What
I
was
hate
that
Dutch
about?
angles.
What
Bro,
does that
bro. Some of them are
It's
okay.
like the tilted.
It wasn't as bad.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
like it's also because the first like 5 minutes of the
It
movie
was
were just
true.
pure
It was
Dutch
true.
It
angles.
was just
Yeah.
like all
It got
yeah.
better, and
Yeah.
then they slipped a little bit on banana halfway through the film because then there was like Loki came to power, and then there was like Dutch angle, and then it kind of fell off.
Thing is,
again,
I
so.
didn't actually notice it that much.
Outside of the beginning.
I
Yeah,
started paying
outside of the
attention when
beginning.
you were talking about it, and I just to go on a Dutch
I'm the
angle.
problem.
Like no, because it was actually a good thing. I was happy to notice it because to play devil's advocate here, whether or not it was effective or not, I started paying attention, and the Dutch angles kind of mirrored Thor's journey throughout this, where Earth
Interesting.
started as this
Interesting.
weird, uncomfortable place, and I think that's why it was so jarring to us because it's
Yeah.
putting this like boring New Mexico thing as like this alien world, and Asgard is just portrayed as the most all like almost entirely just regular angles until Loki takes over, and back on Earth once Selvig takes Thor to the bar, once the interrogation scene is over and Thor thinks that his family is like dead and doesn't want him, suddenly Earth started to become the one that had regular angles and Asgard
Right.
started to switch.
Fuck.
And I actually thought it
didn't
was
notice
really
that.
cool.
That is
cool.
actually
And the
insanely
fact that
cool.
it made us notice the weird Dutch angles at the beginning, I think
I guess
could be
that is
intentional and like it makes us feel weird and it's like what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
It does, but I also think it makes the movie look ugly.
That's also true. That's also true.
I think there is a cooler few camera tricks they did. There was one camera trick that I was like, wow, that's cool, but then they also kept doing it, and that's the one where they would go from top down, but they kept
Yeah.
they kept doing it. At first I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that's cool, and then they kept doing it. I was like, wow, that's a lot less cool, but it okay.
But I think the movie had a lot of directorial.
It had a lot of like experimentation,
Yeah.
Yep.
and for me, I think that experimentation was half and half.
Yeah.
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 For the record, me and Noah Lyford seem to be a little more like anti-movie because we see
That's
what.
Slosh, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hi, I'm Slosh.
Hi, I'm Noah. I'm Blubble. I'm Blubble. Yeah, it gets Bubble. But I think we're a little more like critical of the movie, and Brandon is a little Plasmatic is a little more of positive of the movie. Yeah, and this one is, what's your knee-jerk rating?
So you want my knee-jerk rating?
That's what we've been doing before.
So I was gonna leave this to the end, but I'll say it now. So immediately, I was very confused. I was unbelievably confused by the intro. So I didn't if we're talking about immediate knee jerk reaction out of the first scene, couple scenes, didn't even have a rating. I was lost. Yeah, I tried to think of something. I was like,
that's surprising,
what is happening?
But also coming from, I guess, us, that makes sense.
Yeah, and
the noob speaks.
Yeah, I speak. No,
Jesus?
but going into
Norse
going into the final bit of the movie, I wanted to say kind of I want to say a 6. I want to say it's not the thing that really dragged it down for me was Iron Man wannabe from Asgard. What was that machine?
The Destroyer?
The Destroyer, thank you.
Oh.
That, as well as Loki, unfortunately enough.
Yeah.
I was really, at the start of the movie, I was really sold on Loki. I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to get an actual good villain. I don't know what these two are talking about. This is going to be an amazing movie.
No, we agreed with that at the very beginning. We were pro Loki fanboys.
Yeah.
And then it kind of just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, can I speak to that?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So we have these first 30 minutes, and it seems like Loki is this character in Thor has a little band. Thor's band doesn't really matter much, is what kind of felt like the theme of the movie. It was we have this whole band of people, and it's we are the companions.
My best friends.
And
they say that more than they.
That is a show don't. That is a tell no
exactly.
show moment.
But anyway, it seems like Loki is the one among them who's hey guys, maybe this isn't such a good idea. And you know what? You could kind of fuck with that.
Let him
you
cook.
Could see him getting shit on for kind of no
For
reason.
no reason, yeah.
So it was kind of okay, maybe we're on Loki's side. But then at the end of the movie, he's and the genocide of an entire race, that's okay.
I will have destroyed that race of monsters, and I will be true heir to the throne. You can't kill an entire race. Why not?
His own race, too.
Yeah, which is very strange.
So when he discovers that he's a frost giant, what does that actually? That doesn't change anything.
No,
his motivation's also really fucked because he wants to approve his father, who was not approving of Thor doing the exact same fucking thing. So his motivation literally does not make zero. It makes no sense.
Potentially, right? What he was trying to do was get Thor to do the fighting and somehow maybe not get exiled, but start the war, so then he could be the savior.
I know,
at the end. But
it's not. The fact is that if we have to have this much conversation trying to figure out what the bad guys'
the movie did a shit
was,
job.
They didn't do it right.
Yeah.
Well, you could potentially argue, it's such a nuanced thing, but it really
not.
That also plays into coincidences of are they going to be able to live and escape? I mean, why would Loki go with them at that point and put his own he doesn't know he's a fraud. It's there's so much malarkey to deal with whenever it comes to all of that. It's a little too complicated.
Dried blood in my hair.
Oh,
sorry, keep going.
Is it Frost Giant?
Something that
It's red, so.
we're coming hot off of Iron Man 2.
Yes.
While the release schedule might not show that, trust us, we are.
Same
So
shirts.
Iron Man 2, we have this really nice self-contained plot with a really cool villain and cool character growth for the hero.
Yeah.
We have that really cool character growth for Thor. Mm-hmm. That's basically the entire movie.
Yeah.
Is what I would say.
Yeah.
And I think that having to have a villain in this movie kind of was a fault and a blunder, if I will.
Or even just a basic villain that's I am a secret villain and evil the whole time, instead of I'm a sympathetic villain. I think Loki, because no spoils. But I think Loki would be really good as a sympathetic villain in this show or in this movie, and like the movie does not play that way. It starts to, and that's when we were like kind of behind it.
It's confusing because it felt like half the time they wanted him because Tom Hiddleston is
amazing,
incredible.
Oh, so that scene.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
and he will just because it plays out, but just because half the time he can play this incredibly sympathetic character, but he also plays the lunatic so well, which we will see more. Spoiler in Avengers.
We'll see. Yeah,
but that was all over the market.
That was crazy.
We'll say that I will say there is a crazy scene where Tom Hiddleston finds out Frost Giant. Probably my favorite scene in the movie until Anthony Hopkins just falls asleep in the middle of it.
Yeah, so can I say one of my big problems with this movie is that it kind of relies on the audience to have a big, like, either understanding of what the Thor character is or what Norse mythology is.
Yeah.
And it can't take too much time to explain that or else it would become a boring movie. But if you're going into this and have no knowledge of any of that,
Good
could
luck.
be unsteady.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this one right here. That was like your center complaint on being confused at the start.
Yeah, I was like, the thing is, I was more confused at the start because of the quick cuts around. I think.
Shenanigans.
Yeah, like it went from Earth into Asgard, and then but that's where that came in. I was like, okay, what is happening? Because I don't know all that much. I know bits and pieces, but I only know bits and pieces from getting very, very slight spoilers from like my YouTube feed like ages ago about like, oh, Loki is like there's like a show. That's like all I know though. Like that's the only spoiler I have.
Slosh always up for some reason.
He's always up.
Always.
He's never down.
He never down. Always hard or always.
It gets hard.
It gets hard.
Can't believe we keep saying that.
We'll have to give context for this at some point.
At some point.
No, not now.
No.
It's in the character design.
Yeah, you'll find out.
You'll see it right now. Jake kidding.
No. I'm not doing that.
Nice jump, Slosh.
You said you want to do an animation, right?
That's
crazy. Soft to hard.
This is animation idea for way down the road though. Way down.
That's
the
like
road.
a special event. I think we all know that. That's like an end game special.
That's an
event.
end game special event.
Yeah.
But
sorry. You're.
Sorry.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about Thor.
Can I put a new subject in?
Yeah.
Can we talk about Hawkeye? Because I feel like I was a little dissatisfied with it.
I remember it being a lot cooler.
It's that tiny little tease.
Yeah.
And it's not as I wish it was more. Well, I don't know if it would work or not, but like you know how big of a role Black Widow had in Iron Man 2?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It would have been cool because. That's not really swear, but Hawkeye never gets his due diligence until he finally got his own show.
And that show was
He gets a little bit in.
Sorry to spoil it.
Yeah, he gets a little bit in Age of Ultron, but like not even that much.
I mean,
but compared to like Black Widow and Iron Man 2, it's like nothing. Still.
Yeah.
So it's it's just a little disappointing because it feels like you could have rewritten, you could have just not had the band of my friends and all that, like, and all the people that like didn't matter. If you centered it a lot more around the human stuff, you had Hawkeye like be a goofy boy and like try and shoot the destroyer with an arrow and like just be like, well, fuck. Then it's like that could be like a funny moment or something. Also, the destroyer, once Thor gets his power, bro.
Thor is so overpowered in this movie.
I know.
Like he never gets defeated by anything like physically.
No.
Yeah, I'd say that.
And
there's this crazy CGI sequence when they're in what's the
Jotunheim?
Jotunheim, where like he like brings down his hammer and then we see like thousands.
Oh my god! Yeah,
it's just like,
he just committed like mass
murder.
And then Odin comes in and he's just like, forgive
me, he's a boy.
Son. He's just a boy.
This is a fucking 30-year-old man.
Yeah, he's just a boy. And he's like, there's like literal carnage all over. Drives through like the pet dog that they have. It's like drives through the head.
Destroys like half the continent.
I know. And it's like, it is such a goofy, it's like a goofy and a bad way. I will also say this. There is a point in the movie where it kind of just gets boring. Like, we were having a lot of goofs and laughs even with like thinking like, even us being like, I don't think it's a great movie, but I'm at least having some fun with it.
Yeah.
Then there was one scene Noah Lyford kept bringing, the spunk.
Slosh.
Spunk? Wrong group. Spunkle. But there's a scene that about like where it's a really cute scene where Jane and Thor are like chilling, being like, yeah, this is all my like mythology and stuff, and Yggdrasil, do you know what that is? Great.
I know it from other
there you go.
things,
yeah,
kind of.
Yggdrasil, and like Jane's like, this is so cool, and then after that scene, then I got really bored. I'm not gonna lie. Like that right after that scene is like the destroyer fight and a few other things. Like, but I think that's where the movie really goes from like, I think personally my rating is like a 5 out of 10 to like low-key a 4.5 out of 10. Like, really? Or maybe at least like a 5.5 to a 4.5, because like it felt like a very drastic difference in like how actually like entertaining and how much like I actually wanted to watch the movie. Yeah, I will say like I think this movie had some goofy, not great action scenes. Like, for even as underwhelming as the like Hawkeye break-in scene was to get the hammer, it was like fun, and the and like
it was fun,
and to a certain extent, the first Jotunheim scene was like there was some
really liked that,
I liked it. I didn't like it up until he committed mass genocide, and then I was like, I'm kind of into it.
So we've learned a lot about our friend Bubble here today.
Bubble craves blood. No, it's whenever he then like made all the people like literally like fold in half, and that's whenever I actually found it really entertaining, the fight, because it was just watching multiple like people just fold in half.
Could I hear your rebuttal? Because I know that you've been campaigning for this movie a little bit.
I have, and you guys have. I'm slowly trying to take as much of my childhood out of it, and
sure.
Oh, because just a lot of it, I feel like I remember there being a lot more Earth.
I also feel like I remember.
Yeah.
But, and for me, I remember like almost in a good way. Because I feel like maybe I watched some deleted scenes or something, but I remember really, really liking the like this cast of characters, like imagine like a TV show of Thor, Jane, Darcy, and Selvig, which
his name is Eric, I think.
Dr. Selvig, part of me just almost sees this as like making more sense as a television show.
I agree.
When you would actually get like the full cast, like everyone.
I completely agree.
Yeah. Think about the Warriors 3 and Sif. They should be interesting characters. I think they have good actors. I think that they're set up like well, but they aren't given enough time. You don't have the time to get to know them.
There's so many characters.
Yeah, and it's like I want to. The most frustrating thing is that I think a lot of times across the movie, there's stuff that I want to see more of. I want to get to know them. And that's maybe why it feels disappointing in a lot of ways.
I did want to see what we were talking about with like the exposition of like what is Norse mythology.
Yeah.
Right.
You would have more time to get into that.
This is a really good point. I like this.
Yeah.
Or it feels like a TV show full season condensed into barely 2 hours. Yeah. And but I will say, I am very much a sucker for, it looks pretty. And Asgard.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous
amazing.
That's one of the most incredible things we've seen in the MCU so far.
Is this the prettiest?
Probably I would say. It looks really good.
We've seen?
Is
this the prettiest movie that we've seen?
For sure. Are you kidding me?
I think so.
And that is a credit to the director, I will say. And the whole production design, it's Kenneth Branagh. He played Gilderoy Lockhart in Harry Potter.
Okay.
Really?
Okay.
Oh. Yeah, but he's a Shakespearean actor. It's this whole thing.
Right.
And I think that really showed in Asgard.
Yeah.
It's so shiny.
It was very appealing to look at. I really like it. I really liked looking at Asgard.
I think it's time we do numbers or Stan Lee.
Well, I think we should do
first.
Stan Lee.
Incredible.
So,
Stan Lee.
Yeah, Stan Lee cameo. Sorry, we just hear ghosts.
I think we reacted very well.
We liked the Stan Lee cameo. I remember it being worse. I liked it a lot.
I actually saw it this time.
Yay! Stan Lee cameo for Slosh.
So that means you get the honor. What was your Stan Lee rating?
At 1 out of 10.
Yeah, that means 0 out of 10 if you really hated it that much. But
I give it a 7.
I don't remember any of the past ratings.
I don't know.
It's kind of just more like a vibe.
What was the cameo again?
It was he was driving the truck and it's like,
and the truck
that's like a 10 out of 10 for me.
That for me,
that's like a perfect.
For me, I want to say, just to give it a bit of space for other cameos, I want to give it an 8. Okay. Maybe even an 8.5.
I'm with 8.5. I thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
I like it's like going in, you don't expect it, and then it's like, did I get it? And I'm like, oh, it's Stan Lee. It's short and sweet. He would be the goober that does that.
And it's just one of the funniest ones that I've seen.
It's really
Because like it's
funny.
already a funny bit, and then you add Stan Lee.
Stanley, yeah.
Yeah.
Great cameo.
Well, I guess I have to see the other ones.
Yeah. It only goes downhill from there compared to the older ones.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
actually,
first-
both Iron
that's
Mans
not
were good.
the
The first,
both Iron Mans were
both
good.
Iron Mans
Yeah.
were pretty
You're
good.
not gonna, the Hulk one bad.
Yeah.
Hulk one is as bad as the Hulk movie.
You don't need to see it.
We'll say pretty unanimous among the table. We did like it more than the Hulk.
Yeah, we like this movie
Yeah.
more than the Hulk.
Yeah.
So let's rate it.
Well, we haven't finished.
What are we doing?
The end
End
credits
credits
scene.
scene.
Oh,
Get a load of this slosher.
Sorry, it's
Anyways.
soft right now.
Wait, it's sticky.
It's
No, it's soft. We just went over this.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Dude.
Unbelievable.
Unbesloshable.
Okay.
I'm not sure about that.
End credits.
What was? It was.
Shoot.
Oh.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Dr.
With Dr. Selvig.
Dr. Yeah.
Stellan Skarsgård, the goat.
Yes.
That
He
was
goes.
interesting.
He goes to Nick Fury in the basement of all the basements, and
And this is the first appearance of the
Tesseract.
we can call it,
We can
yeah,
call
the
it
Tesseract.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's-
Tesseract.
Yeah.
It's this blue cube, which becomes very important later on.
Which, well, goofy enough,
Which
I
is
thought that was
different from
thing.
the other blue cube
Yeah.
that was fundamental to this movie.
Which never shows up again?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, which is really
Oh.
strange.
Maybe in the
Wait.
background. In
It might be a
4-3.
Dark World pull, but
Even
Probably a
so,
cameo
it's like,
in
yeah.
2 or 3, but-
It's probably a cameo. In there. That's still so strange. Like, anyways, yeah. Point is, like, good end credit scene. Not as good as for me the Iron Man one,
The Iron-
original
the Iron
one.
Man, yeah.
I mean, obviously, not a lot are gonna. I mean, our next one will probably be that, but
I think that Iron Man 2 is also better
I
than.
I would agree with
because
that.
these haven't had Thor's hammer, that was really exciting.
Yeah.
Right.
This one does tease the return of Loki, and
it
does-
actually
yeah.
it teases a lot of the start of a movie that we're
Yeah,
Yeah.
it teases a lot of the plot actually of that movie in ways that we can't really get into.
Yeah. But it teases it. I mean, most of these end credits trailers are teasing
But this is
that movie.
definitely the
Yeah.
heaviest
Yeah.
that's actually like shown parts of that movie.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Except
So-
for the fact that in this movie it had verbatim the end credit
Oh,
scene from
yeah,
Iron Man 2.
yeah.
They just
Yeah, that
copied
was
and
crazy.
Yeah, that
pasted
is
it
true.
in.
That was
Yeah.
funny. I will say the only weird thing about this takes off points for me for the end credit scene is that it's weird that because we know what the Tesseract is. What's a Tesseract? That's what I
big
thought.
power.
That's what I thought. So we
Big
don't
power go boom.
could have big powers the way they describe it, but we don't know what its origin or
And
why.
you'll
it's
hear
important.
about it in the next episode.
Yes,
Yes,
we
yes,
will.
we
I
will.
forgot about that actually. That's where we know it from. But yeah, yeah, that's like for me the biggest takeaway from it is like it's kind of awkward to have it before the next episode, but it okay. It was it's always good to see Nick.
Yeah.
Me
No, I thought it
and
was
her are on a
solid.
first name basis.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
of course, yeah.
No, I thought it was solid.
Me and Nick.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
liked it. Good. Thumble up, and
What next?
Are we final? You anything else other than
Ooh,
final
final
rating
ratings.
or FMK
anything.
Villains?
Oh, I have one more thing to say.
Ooh. No.
wait.
I mean,
Say it.
Loki is all of them. I guess the
Loki is-
Destroyer.
Yeah.
And-
Wait, it's Loki, Destroyer, and
And-
Leve.
Leve?
Don't you
I
You
know?
mean Luffy?
Luffy,
Wait,
yeah.
copyright,
Yeah, don't you
copyright,
mean
yeah.
Luffy?
Luffy, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the guy from One Piece.
Yeah.
If it
Anyway.
were Levy, I feel like our FMK would be different.
Yeah. Anyways, actually, I will say there's one point at the very beginning of the movie, and this was one of my gripes going into it, and it got a lot smoother and better from here. Was the pacing was really awkward because
Yeah.
it goes from it's really strange. It goes from instantly in like a span of 10 minutes is we have the human scene and then the intro credit, right? And that's like fine, right? Nice. And then we have it starts. Shoot, how does it start? I've already forwarded.
How the movie starts.
Well, it goes then with like Thor and Loki as kids, and then it goes before that.
Yeah.
There it is. Before that, it's Odin defeating frost giants and being like, "We have peace in the realms, yay!" And then we have Thor and Loki as kid, and then we have Thor and Loki as adult. But then the frost giants are back, but then they're instantly defeated.
Yeah.
And then we have Thor saying, "Let's go kill the frost." It's really weird.
It's
pacing.
why I was so confused at
It's
the start.
It's
Yeah.
also just very strange, but. And like I get that the point is so that they can go fight and that Thor can get sent to punishment land, and then Loki can be like, "Whoa, I'm blue now and I'm a Smurf," and it's like cool. But there was definitely a better way to do that. You could have just literally had it been like Thor. You could have just had it them breaking in and then being like Odin being like, now don't go do it. You didn't have to have like someone let them in or like the showing of like peace. You could just have them still at war.
Yeah,
honestly,
true.
there's just so much like goofiness to it. It's whatever. True. It okay. It fine.
Well, I think the
and if it's not to cut you off, but if it's war, it makes Loki's like kidnapping like then just like also a little bit cooler and a little bit sweeter on his part.
That is true. Yeah. I feel like though the fact that like they were at a temporary peace kind of brings more of a focus on I don't even remember Odin.
Yeah.
So Odin's like leadership and like the reason why he doesn't, or the reason why he's exiling and disagreeing with Thor.
But there's so many like maybe literally the point you could just go there is Thor gets too bloodthirsty and then it's like,
or it could even just be we're at temporary peace, and that's all you need to say.
Yeah, and that's all you need to say.
And it leaves them more mysterious.
That's true.
And then it like Loki can become like a leader for like we're unraveling that mystery. It's like there's so many different ways to not screw your pacing up horribly in the beginning, and that's all I had to say on that matter because it gets smoother once like the humans are involved. I also remember Darcy being annoying. But Darcy wasn't annoying. Cool. Darcy was kind of funny. I liked Darcy.
Also, I think Yulux and I have both seen that actress on Two Broke Girls.
Yeah.
Where she plays the exact same character.
Basically the exact same character. Nice. It's so funny.
Did you know Darcy is the voice of Mabel Pines from Gravity Falls? I did.
No way.
Is this our longest
episode
so far?
Also Sarah Lynn and BoJack Horseman, which everyone
here
should know. How much is this?
26.
Yo,
I really
editing this
we average at 26.
Yeah, we average 26.
Hey, I know who's editing this video.
All right, let's do our final
ratings.
Final ratings.
After all this discourse.
Cut here.
What?
Cut back.
America.
Freedom.
Final ratings. I'm calling it a 4.5.
Ooh, okay.
That's like only 0.5 above Hulk.
That is actually 0.5 above.
That is correct.
Wow. Okay.
Or we could drop Hulk.
I want to set the stage because I know that there's going to be some middle of the roaders, but I just don't think that we got there in this one.
Okay. That might change on my rankings.
Just
So
still jerking.
Was this middle of the road slightly above?
This
slightly worse?
was about I want to say a 6 for me.
Cool.
A 6 for me.
I'm going 4.
Same as the Hulk.
Same as the Hulk.
You think this is the same?
So
You enjoyed the same amount as
for
the Hulk?
for me, it's I enjoyed it slightly more, but not enough to bump it 0.5.
I wasn't expecting
That's
it.
crazy.
That's
This
insane.
movie, I'm going to be honest, I wanted to turn it off quite a bit through.
See, part of me, to counteract that, wants to go a little high, but I'm just gonna have to go accurate with how I'm feeling, and that is gonna be a 6.5.
Okay.
And so, can anyone average that?
So we have 2
That
4s.
is a 5.
No, we have 2 4s.
Wait,
4.5.
That's an 8. Then that's.
I think that's a 5.
I want to say that's a 5.5. 5.5.
Okay.
Let's do the math here. Let's do the math here.
That's a 5.
Cut back to when we've done the math.
5.25.
5.25. I
can survive with
Slightly above average. Yeah.
Wait, we're saying 5, is that? Okay.
Oh, I got that joke.
Yeah, there you go. It gets hard.
It gets hard.
It gets hard.
It gets Thor.
It gets
low-key.
You
you know we should start
as average?
I think 1 is average.
Oh boy.
In the middle of the rankings. We're talking about rankings.
We're talking about rankings.
Yeah.
We're talking about rankings.
You know what I actually think we should introduce at the very end of all these videos is so there's been one actually commonality I think we realized in this movie, or actually in Iron Man 2, is every one of these Marvel movies has one phrase that we all keep saying, and for this one it's another.
Let's throw this on the ground.
No, let's not do that.
Let's not do that.
Let's do it.
We're in our school's cafeteria right now.
Don't say that, they're gonna know.
Dining hall, sorry.
Yeah, no.
This is in the basement of our dorm.
Guys, we're not in a school.
It's 1 in the morning.
No, it's not.
I'm sleeping
Wait, it
now.
is.
It's 12:30 in the morning.
I go to the gym at
Guys,
7 in the morning with Slosh. It gets hard.
Call me Odin the way I be falling asleep as you guys all talk. I'm going to bed.
Call me Thor the way I son of Odin. All right, and that's where we're gonna end it. So say goodnight. Why are you coming back? Go to bed.
Go to bed.
Don't make me yell at you, old man. Just like Tom Hiddleston. That was uncalled for. You've just wasted so much food. I thought you were an environmental science major.
Jesus.
I can't do that because I'm on camera.
We can't.
I did it already.
Oh, fuck you. All right, that's all. Say. Like, subscribe, and make sure to land the Bifrost on that subscribe button. And
Comment another.
Comment Heimdall. More like, stop the video. That's called eye candy.